Okay, so my name is Terry. I'm actually a local councillor and I'm a local councillor for the Lib Dem party. Today I am. Once they found out what I'm doing today, I might not just see what happens. Anyway, so I have a speech. Currently, our party is captured, but its relentless move towards silencing women and their rights is slowly but surely being chipped away, not least because of the work the Liberal Voice for Women, LBW, is doing from within. I am a member of LBW, hence why I'm here. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court ruling has proved both a blessing and a thorn in the side of LBW, as we feel the backlash from the TQ plus and ideologists within the party. I became a member of the Lib Dems when I was invited to stand for election to be a councillor in the ward where I was brought up. I looked at the Lib Dem manifesto and it appeared to be a true fit with all of my beliefs, including women's rights. The first time I got an inkling that perhaps all was not well was before I was elected, when a local resident brought the trans issue to my attention. I spoke to our soon-to-be MP, who directed me towards one of the most captured members of our party, a female MP, who then suggested I talk to another captured party member, also female. Thankfully, a friend who was already a member of LBW caught me in time. And since then, LBW has taught me everything that is right about being a so-called TERF and everything that is wrong with the trans activism ideology and its place in politics. LBW is a pro-women rather than an anti-trans group. It fights to raise awareness of and to regain our sex-based rights. It campaigns, for example, for the collection of sex disaggregated data. Crucially, it aims to protect children and young people from trans ideology. For me, that is hugely important. Our manifesto is very clear. We campaign for women to have the right to single-sex spaces, services and sports, to freedom of belief and expression, to peaceful assembly, to retain the words that relate solely to women, e.g. woman and mother. The Lib Dems, on the other hand, have strong TQ plus lobbyists groups, including Young Liberals and Plus, the LGBTQ plus group for genderists. We also have the LGB Liberal Forum for Plus members, but this is greeted with as much enthusiasm as LBW. Equality groups within the party, such as Lib Dem Women, have also been captured. Being the party that promotes support for and that targets the transgender community, the Lib Dems also attract entryism through its lobby groups. LVW brought a legal case against the party for not allowing us to stand the conference. The hierarchy took advice, and they were told that it would lose the case, so it was put to court. The settlement agreement states that LVW has the right to be treated as equals. Importantly, we can now have a standard conference, which gives us the opportunity to speak to the larger membership. Party members are learning what LBW is, and they are listening to us. We are at least in the room, although I would have to add that we are the elephant in that room. We are accepted only because by rights we have to be, not because we're wanted by the top tier. Yet, our conference stall is the busiest. The majority of members we talk to agree with us, although quietly, because our beliefs are still taboo in the big picture. That said, a recent YouGov poll at Liberal Party members indicates that the wider membership is with us in our beliefs and support the LBW manifesto. As suggested earlier, the Supreme Court ruling has caused disquiet within the leadership of the Lib Dems. Our party has lived and breathed the mantra that a trans woman is woman. Mark Pack, our president, is a staunch supporter of this. He has made this very clear and bled his belief into everything Lib Dem, including, where he can, its policies. His tenure in this role finishes soon. We can only hope that our new president will be more open to conversation with us and to being more inclusive of women's rights. On the day of the Supreme Court ruling, our then Lib Dem Equalities and Women's spokesperson, Christine Jardy, who is clearly against the ruling, posted on the Lib Dem website, "We accept the Supreme Court's ruling, which rightly recognises there's been too much confusion for too long over what protections the Equality Act provides. But this ruling itself does not mean an end to that confusion. In fact, it has caused a lot of worry and left many unsure what it means for them, particularly for trans people and their loved ones. As a priority, the government must provide further guidance and clarity on what this judgment means for people." She has since then been dismissed from her role, although not because of her lack of support for women's rights. Again, we hope that her replacement will be more open to discussion with LBW and will include women as part of the equality equation. Ed Davey has said publicly that the Lib Dems have accepted the ruling and that it is the law. When challenged about the party's history, he has conceded that mistakes have been made along the way. He still doesn't seem to be able to answer the question on what a woman is, however. Like Christine, he challenges how the Supreme Court ruling should be implemented across the UK for businesses, organisations and all political parties, and that this should be debated in Parliament. At LBW, we don't agree. We believe the ruling and the Equality Act are crystal clear and the law must be upheld. Now that we have more MPs, the cracks are starting to appear. The pack is bigger, and we know that some disagree with the party on its trans stance. Some can also see, quite rightly, that the trans delusion is no longer a vote winner and serves only as a distraction from the bigger issues. Just finishing. LBW is also making headway in local politics. Sadly, I don't have time to speak it here, although I am happy to offer examples later. Meanwhile, we can only hope that with the change of president and the Equalities and Women's Votes person, and with the Supreme Court ruling, LBW will be invited to the party sooner rather than later. Can I retract one thing? Somebody said, why do we stay in the party? Actually, members of LBW stay in that party because we fight from within out in the party. If we're not there, then that party, we have stopped the Lib Dems from doing various different things, so that's why we stay members, because if we're not, we can't fight from within. So that's why we do it.